Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we are here in the garage doing a little bit of work, filming some videos, and also making the switch over from the Leech Lake arsenal. You know, all the rods and reels, all the tackle that we, curated for Leech Lake. We're now switching over to the Tennessee River for September fishing, getting ready for this fall transition. And so, yeah, it's going to be a long day here in the garage, but it's nice and cool, as you can see with the sweatshirt, which is really, really nice. But we just got back, speaking of Leech Lake, from BassboatElectronics.com and Ultramarine. They helped me, dial some things in. We had some things that we needed to work on after the rough water from Leech. I mean, nothing major. It's just we had like an Ethernet cable go out on the GARMIN system here. And, just little stuff like that. So ended up getting that. We also ended up reinforcing our Bass Boat Technologies mount. This is the rough water plate, from what I understand it's called. So we have the Bass Boat Technologies dual mount here, but we got this plate. So that eliminates the risk of, any, bending. You have these big 16-inch grafts, even bigger in some cases. And if you stuff a wave like we did at Leech, you run the risk of bending this mount. So we didn't want to, risk that anymore. So we put this plate on there. So go check that out at bassboattechnologies.com. I'll put a link in the description below. So that's one of the things that we added on there. And then we also had to, fix the GPS puck because that kept on popping off. So we moved it a little bit and then we recalibrated it. All that stuff. But anyways, what I wanted to do today is talk about another thing that they did at BBE when I was up there, and that is to really do something cool with I need to turn the power on, with my battery system. So as you guys know, because I've done a few videos on it recently, I switched my cranking and house battery system from 2 AGMs, 100 amp hour AGMs, to 180 amp hour lithium battery. So the Alphaline 180 amp dual purpose battery from ProGuide is now my power system, and it worked very well. And one of the main reasons why I was like confident before Leech to be able to make that change is that it is a super feature packed series of lithium battery. They put a lot of time and resources into designing pretty much the most top shelf battery on the market for both trolling motor systems and general power systems in your bass boat. And one of the features that I thought was really, really cool, but I wasn't sure if it was going to be as useful as they say, is the NEMA capability. Okay, so it has a NEMA port on the battery itself that you can connect your NEMA network to allow it to be on your units. And so I thought that was a really cool idea. But again, I'm like, okay, one of the hangups I had was, with a lithium battery, it has a flat power curve. So it's like, if it says 13.2 volts, it could be, that there's only like 25% of the battery left. It's not like an AGM where that if it gets down below 12 volts, you're kind of in trouble and you need to like charge that battery. Lithium battery can kind of fall off a cliff, and so it's hard to tell just from voltage on your screen, where it is as far as, power. But hooking it up to a unit should give you, some other information. And so I was interested, I wasn't like super focused on that when I went to Bass Boat Electronics, but they were curious as to how the NEMA connectivity to the Alphaline battery would work with the Garmin. And I'm glad that they had that curiosity, because when I got there and I played around with it, I was like blown away. So I wanted to show you guys this real quick. So, all right. So we've got this, our normal screen here. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go to home, we're going to go to vessel, and we're going to go to battery management. And there it is right there. So we've got a full, breakdown of what's going on with the status of this battery. So I just charged it. And so we've got 99%. So we've got 99% power left on this battery, this 180 amp battery. We got 13.5 volts, which again, I'm not as focused on voltage with the lithium. But over here, this is pretty cool right here. So you see this negative, 6-ish, value right now. It's negative 5.7. That is the amp draw. So that's how many amps are being drawn from the battery right now under this specific configuration we've got. So we've got 3 units on right now. The 16-inch is not on at the moment. So that is drawing, around 6 amps-ish. But if I was to do this, turn down the backlight, watch what happens. Okay, we'll do this. So that brings it down to like the low 5s. So it depends on how much, power you're using. That's what the amp draw is going to be. It's actually below 5 at this point right now. So, and that increases this number right here. All right, so let's bring this back up so you can actually see it. But that changes this number right here. This number below the amp draw, okay, that is how many hours you have left at that specific usage. So at negative 6.4 amps being drawn, you've got 27 hours and change left on this battery, and it's going to fluctuate based on how much power is being used at that moment. So like if the bilge pump turns on or the live well turns on, that is all going to change, but it gives you that clear picture of like, all right, how much power do I have? Do I need to make a short run to kind of top things off a little bit with the alternator on the engine? You can make those fine-tuned decisions. Another thing you can do, which I think is really cool, is this is something that I've learned too. I'm still, learning the whole ecosystem with GARMIN, but here we go. So like you have these overlay, boxes here. One thing that I'm going to start doing is I'm going to go to power. I'm going to change this. So I long press on that. Let's go back. So you're going to long press on it. Then you can change this. So I'm going to go to power, and then we're going to do state of charge. So like, just so I have a better understanding of like what my power usage is and what what state my battery is in as far as how much power I have left, I'm going to use state of charge. So that gives me the percentage of the battery life that is still available with that battery. So I know if I'm getting to a certain point, with this battery, say it's getting down to like the 25% range, I know I need to charge it a little bit, do a little bit of a milk run or something like that to top it off. So this is a much better way to keep track of your the state of charge with a lithium battery than just with the voltage. Okay. So anyways, I thought this was really cool. Some other things that you could change it to, obviously, are time remaining. So you could change it to that if you like. You could change it to voltage, but again, I don't think voltage is the best indicator of like where you're at. DC current, that gives you the amp draw, that sort of thing. But I think I probably am more on the state of charge line of thinking than anything. I've got it on that side too. I've already put it on there. But anyways, I thought this was really cool. So I'm actually a huge believer in the NEMA connectivity of this battery, the Alpha line. And if you guys see the merit in it too, I'm going to put the link in the description below for it. but I think it's a big deal. I think it's something that allows you to make on the water decisions. I've had so many tournaments where I go to crank. I've been fishing in one spot for a long time, and then I go to crank the engine with, you know, AGM technology, and maybe the screens start flashing, you know, on my graph, or it just doesn't have that you know, that oomph when I go to turn the key. Then I know I need to maybe do a little bit of a run and top off that battery with the alternator. In this case, I don't need to do any of that. You're not going to have any flickering, you know, screens generally with your lithium batteries. You're not going to have those indications. It's going to have a lot of power, but it may be at the end of the state of charge, you know, a life cycle, I guess, is how I'd put it. So, you know, this is a way for you to be able to make those in the moment, you know, under pressure decisions based on exactly what's going on with your battery. So anyways, I've rambled enough on this topic. Thought it was really cool, so I wanted to do a video on it. Again, the link will be in the description below for the Alpha Line battery that I've got in my boat. Other than that, I'm going to see you guys on the water. Make sure you trust the process. Oh, and also trust BassBoatElectronics.com and Ultramarine. Check them out. Also put a link to their deal, you know, their websites down below. So thank you guys very much. I'll see you out on the water.